Okay, good evening, everyone. Guys, I think someone is on mute. Can you please mute yourself? Okay, thank you. Before we start with this particular session, guys, I hope you are able to see me properly. You are able to see my computer screen also. You are able to hear me. If all three yes, give me a yes in the chat box. Okay, perfect. Then we'll start with this particular session. As you know that we are going to start our session at 8:30. It's almost 8:33 according to me. So let's start with this particular session. Today we will be talking about NMAT, and specifically we'll be talking about on data interpretation and data sufficiency section, right? Uh, yeah, I think one person is on mute, but I'll request all of you to please put yourself on mute. Okay. Is it only me or you guys can also hear someone? Can you type yes in the chat box if you can hear someone? Okay. So I hope I'm still with you guys. Let me ask you few of the things. But first of all, when is your NMAT examination? When have you taken the date? Can you quickly type that date in the chat box? Guys, are you able to hear me? Okay, perfect. 19th December, 9th of November, only slot which was available. Yeah, there was some problem going on while booking the NMAT slots. Not only the NMAT slot booking was a problem, there are other beautiful things which are going on. Okay. So I have tried two NMAT mocks from time. I got stuck with the DI question, lose out on con section. Okay. We will definitely discuss that in today's session, what exactly we are going to do and how we are going to do that. By the way, you know that is NMAT has already started. But before we discuss, the paper in depth, let us discuss few of the things about NMAT. I think you guys already know there is no negative. There's an equal weightage per section. Just quickly type in the chat box here. Today we will make it more interactive. So what is the total marks for NMAT? Total how many marks are allotted for NMAT? Quickly in the chat box. Okay, perfect. Yes, guys, you are absolutely correct. The total 360 marks is allotted for NMAT examination. However, because of some technical glitch in the first few days, some of the students have reported this to me that they have received 369 marks. Okay, there's a technical glitch going on. I'm sure they must have corrected it by now. And whoever has faced this technical glitch, their score will also be corrected. There was a programming error. So initially, people were getting amazing score, more than 360, and they were very happy, especially in English verbal, when you are getting more than 120 out of 120. So you feel that, oh my God, my paper was awesome. Now, either they have miscalculated or they have given too much weightage to some of the questions. I don't know how they were planning their paper, how they have prepared their paper. So it's very difficult to say at this particular point how they're going to correct it. But yes, the correction will be done. Because I think you guys know that you will be able to see your score immediately. You can download your scorecard also, right? Although there are 3 attempts to improve your score, you know that the top universities like Narsima Mumbai itself is going to accept only and only your first score. So you have to be very, very careful about that. Now, what exactly is happening this year, especially in the section of quant, data interpretation, and data sufficiency? Let me discuss that quickly with you guys. So, you need to understand few things before I jump to that particular section. Whenever you are going for an NMAT examination and you want to excel at this particular section, that is quant, data interpretation, and data sufficiency, remember that your mental calculation has to be really, really strong. You must remember all the squares, cubes, the Bodmas rule, the calculation techniques should be known to you. You need to have tricks to solve the question so that you can, balance out your time, speed, and accuracy at the same time. I think you guys, at least most of you, and I think all of you, should agree with me when I say that CAT examination is more based on your logical ability, thinking ability, and speed may or may not matter. But in the examinations like SNAP and NMAT, speed also matters a lot because you have a lot of questions that you need to solve in the given amount of time frame. All right. So speed, accuracy is very, very important for us. Now, what you should do is you should write at least 2 to 3 mock before you are writing actual NMAT paper. Remember, the more mocks you are going to write, the better your paper is going to be on the D day. All right. But even if you're writing 3 to 4 mocks and you have understood the strategy, you have understood what you're supposed to be doing, it's good enough. And very important, you should attempt the question and it should be done very, very strategically. Now, what strategy are we going to follow here? Now, before I give you that particular strategy, one more question. Quickly type yes or no in the chat box. Guys, can we come back to the question once we have answered it or once we have skipped it? Can we come back to the question in NMAT? The answer is absolutely no. And remember, there is no negative also. So, if one question appears in front of you and looking at the question, you have to judge whether I want to solve this particular question in the given time frame or not. If you feel I am unable to solve this particular question in the given time frame, use your logic, use the answer elimination technique, think which of the following possible answer is going to be correct, mark it, and go to the next one. Because you can't afford to spend a lot of time here. And here goes my next question to you guys. In NMAT, in Quant, tell me quickly how many questions do appear and how many minutes are given for the same. Okay. Uh, while you are typing that, to answer your question, Tushar, you are right. The score is going to decrease if you give wrong answer again and again, and it will impact your overall marks also. But at this particular moment, what can you do? Either you are going to skip that particular question and you may end up getting zero. That is equally dangerous as marking one of the option and taking a risk of being it accurate or not accurate. Okay. In both the cases, you are going to the next question. And whether you're solving the next question or not also decides how much marks you are going to get. Okay. We will discuss that, Beta. We will discuss that. Okay. No, when I say what do I mean by skipping the question? Skipping the question means you look at the question, it is a question of function. You know, you don't like this particular topic, you may not go for the answer of this, and you have randomly marked A and went to the next one. What I am trying to say is, even if you are doing that, you look at that particular question and think, out of these four given option, what could be the correct answer? Can I eliminate the option? Right? Skipping the question means I'm just looking at the question. I'm trying to, randomly, okay, this is the question. I don't know how to do it. A, next. So why to do that? Give yourself 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Try to think what can be the answer of this. Okay. All right. Yes, guys. So in Quant, we are talking about 52 minutes that has been given to you in order to attempt 36 questions. Now, 36 question, 52 minutes. That means on an average, I have less than 2 minutes with me, maybe more than, I mean, very, very close to 1.5 minutes per question. And remember, there will be some question which will take slightly more time as compared to others. So as I said, your time, your speed, and your accuracy, all the three have to be in a perfect balance. Okay. If you're trying to hurry up to answer the question and your accuracy goes down, that is also dangerous, because whether you are marking it right or you are marking a wrong answer, in any case, you are moving on to the next question. And at the end of this particular exercise, you will finally see the result page. And that is going to tell you whether you were right or wrong. So why not to judge that here only? Also, one very important thing, guys, when I say strategy, this strategy is slightly different than the strategy we follow for the CAT examination. All right. So what we normally do for the CAT examination is we scan the paper, identify the questions, and then go ahead. Also, I have seen this problem with some of the students that they have picked up a question to solve 2 or 3 minutes. They realize I picked the wrong question. I was thinking at that moment when I picked the question that this is an easy question. But after taking 3 or 4 steps, I don't know what to do now. Okay. So this may be dangerous for NMAT. While looking at the question, you will have to decide, should I pick it or should I skip it? And remember, mental calculation is very, very important, because my dear friends, what is happening this year? First of all, the questions which are appearing from the various topics are slightly lengthy according to the reviews that I have received so far, and thoda confusing bhi hai. So you have to be very, very careful when you are attempting these questions. So far, the report which I have received with me is around 7 to 8 questions in data interpretation, 2 to 3 questions in data sufficiency, around 5 to 6 questions in arithmetic, 2 to 3 questions in geometry. So that also answers your question. Do we have geometry questions in NMAT? See, what you have to understand is NMAT is spread over so many days. Geometry question may appear on this day, this day, this day. But if you're writing NMAT here, it may not appear in your paper. So it is very difficult to say whether geometry will be there in that particular section at your time or not. Okay. Okay. Yes. I'll definitely come to that, Tushar. That's a beautiful point, Beta. And I would like to share 2 experiences also with you about that. Okay. So geometry, 2 to 3 questions. Permutation combination probability, students have faced 2 or 3 challenging questions and some question based on calculation as well. So today, in this particular session, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a glimpse of some of the questions. Most of the questions are already present on the official GMAC website also. They are present in their booklet also. I'm just using them to give you an idea how the question is, what you're supposed to be thinking. But as I said, today I want to have a very interactive session with you guys. So what I'm going to do is, per question, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and within that 2 minute duration, you will type the answer in the chat box. I would like to see whether that question was solvable within 2 minutes or not. And what we are going to do is a very simple thing. We will discuss one method of that particular question. You want more methods? We will definitely discuss that. Now, to answer your question, Tushar, some people say that if we keep marking B or C, mostly the answer is correct. See, बहुत पहले के जमाने में ये चीज ट्रू हुआ करती थी because OMR sheet was given in the papers, so it was not an online paper. Okay, in the OMR sheet they were giving 4 option where you have to mark the answer. So most of the questions were designed in such a way that students should get a variety of the answer. I mean, the first answer is B, second is C, third is B, C, B, C, C, B, A, D, D. If the pattern is present, a student may start following that. To avoid that confusion, what they normally did was they jumbled up the question in such a way that if one of the answer is A, another answer could be A, could be B, could be C. It They're trying to make it unpredictable for a student. Second thought process which was there is, most of the questions in maths, we start using the options. So some people start using option from A. Some people think यार ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, A check किया फिर B किया फिर C किया और आंसर D आ जाए, तो मैं D से start करूंगा. So there was a misconception that they are keeping most of the real answers here, so that people have to check at least 2 options. But this may or may not be true. And let's assume, Tushar, very dangerous point. Let's assume it is true. Particular time frame in the examination, if you are done with 18 questions already, will you remember during the exam pressure out of these 18, how many did you mark B, how many did you mark C? Maybe it is possible that the rest of the question which are going to appear in front of you have an answer A or D. Okay. So to answer the next question, if I skip the question, will it decrease my marks or questions? Uh, it will definitely decrease your marks. See, if you are giving the right answer, nothing will decrease your marks. If you are giving wrong answer or no answer, obviously your marks are going to get reduced. Right? Assume +3 and 0. +3 for the right answer, 0 for the wrong answer. Then obviously your marks are going to get reduced. Okay. So we will always try to give the answer as positively as possible for us. Now, let's start with our exercise. Guys, I am going to show you the very first question as an example. I am going to give you guys exact 2 minutes. I hope you have your pen and paper with you. Within 2 minutes, I want the answer in the chat box. Your time starts now. There are 2 questions, 2 minutes. Good. I got the first answer in 1 minute, 30 seconds. Excellent, guys. Fantastic. See, most of you are giving me the correct answer for the very first question. I hope you realize there is one more question waiting for you. Okay, some people have given me that question also. Okay, perfect. So now let us start the discussion of both the questions simultaneously, and let us try to understand what exactly these questions are all about. So guys, if you observe this particular question, it is about the square root and calculating the percentages of the given number. If you observe this question, it is I hope that you guys are giving me the answer. Although I am unable to see you, I hope that nobody is using calculator to get the answer. That's what my hope is. And if you're using calculator, I'll request you not to do that. Please remember, in the NMAT examination, you have to do the mental calculations, right? So when we are talking about this particular question, what exactly are we going to do? As you guys can see, the answers are not nearby. They are almost far. There is a lot of distance in the answers. This answer is 5 distance away from the first one. That's what we can assume. And if we understand that, what we can do is look at this number. Now, obviously, under root of 486 is not going to give me an absolute value because this is not the square of an integer. It will give me a value, but in the decimal terms. Okay, it is definitely going to give me a value, but it will give me a value in the decimal terms. However, if I observe under root of 484, which is 22, is very close to this. So rather than taking some decimal value, can I assume this value to be 22? Can I? Can we do that? Yes or no, guys? Similarly, rather than calculating the actual 21%, I should rather calculate 10%, that is 3.2, and double it, which will give me very close to 20% of this question. And 20% of this is going to be very close to 6. If I add them, my answer will be closer to 28. In these kind of questions is we need to approach them with almost taking the closest possible value, right? So yes, you're absolutely correct, Buddha. If we are calculating 20% of 32, I can also divide this 32 by 5 because 20% is nothing but 1 by 5. Okay, but is my voice breaking for everyone? I mean, naturally, it is breaking today because of
Yes, sir.
a little throat infection. But are you guys able to hear me properly? You understand what I'm saying?
Sir, it feels like network issue.
Okay. But I think my network is good today. I have a little throat congestion. Let me check if I keep my network outside the house. Does it work? Okay. I hope my voice will become slightly better now. Okay. Okay. ठीक है बेटा. So let's try to understand the rest of the part. I hope you have understood this particular question, but you have written not understand properly. So, but is that the voice or this question or the mechanism? What are you talking about? Okay. Now, are you able to understand my voice properly? Okay, perfect. What if the options are close enough? See, first of all, if they want speed, chalo, we'll discuss about that, beta. You are asking an appropriate question. What will happen if the options are very close? Let us discuss one of the thing about that. But before we do that, Let us try to answer the second question of the day. So what we are doing is we are dividing 2154 by 16. Guys, only one question I'm going to ask you at this particular moment. The decimal points and the value, whatever is given after this, should we consider this or not? Is it important? Absolutely no. Now, but you can 100% do 2155 divided by 16. You can change it also, but actually it is not needed. Look at the options. I mean, if I multiply 16 by 100, I'll be getting 1600. This is definitely more than that. So whatever my answer is, that is 100% going to be more than 100. Now, is it going to be 150 or is it going to be 130? That is the question we need to answer. You can manually check. If I add another 16 into 50 to it, it will exceed the given value, which simply means my answer is going to be 130. Now, when these kind of questions are designed, the intention of the examiner is to check approximate value, how they are uh, done, and they're also checking whether the student is able to do that or not. I mean, if you use the calculator, guys, I'll request you to do that. Can you take out your calculator and use these exact numbers divided? Use the exact numbers. 2154.832 divided by 16.15. Do it. No need to type that answer in the chat box. Just for your peace of mind, when you do that, don't you think this is the value which you are getting? 133.414. Yes. What you are going to do is, if you divide this given number with this given number with the help of the calculator, this is the value which you are getting. Look at the options. Now, your question is, what will happen if they are going to keep the options very, very close? Suppose if the first option is 133.414, next is 133.413, 133.412, 133.411. What should I do in this particular case? My dear friend, can't do anything. Either you actually calculate it accurately and try to beat that accuracy within 1 and 2 minutes. My only question is, can you do it manually? If yes, go ahead. If no, take a random guess and go to the next one. Okay? Because in these kind of a questions, if you feel you are going to consume a lot of time, we don't have luxury of time in this examination. Okay? Every question is unique. Every question is different from each other. You need to pay attention to the uniqueness of that particular question and keep moving to find out the question which will benefit you the most and try to get the answer of that. For example, if I'm looking at this particular question, 2 minutes, give me the answer, guys. Good. I got the first answer within 2 minutes. Then good. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Now, let me share with you guys the options which I have received in the chat box. The first option I have received was A. One of the option I have received was B. One option was C. One option was D. One option was E. In short, I have received all the five options which I have given you. So in this particular case, how do we identify what should be the answer of this particular question? Now let us try to understand what the question is trying to tell us and whether we should apply the right approach to this to get the answer, or should we apply the wrong approach to it. So guys, can you please type yes in the chat box? Have you understood the question? Yes, type it in the chat box. Have you understood the question? If you are confused in the language, type no. If you are confused in the language, type no. Okay, perfect. So let me explain this particular question to you with a very small and a very simple example, guys. Suppose on the board, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's say 7 is also written. A person will come, will erase these two. Whatever is their addition, the person is going to add the two numbers that person has deleted from the board, erased from the board, and will write down that number plus this number minus 1. So if the operation is performed with these two number, he or she is going to write down 2 here. Then the next person will come on the board, will erase these two numbers, and rather than these two number, he or she is going to write down 2 plus 3 minus 1. That means the person is going to write down 4. That's how slowly the numbers are getting erased. Your question is, so that means they're erasing in the ascending order? No, but I am explaining you this question in the ascending order. And I have particular reasons of doing that. I'm just telling you what exactly we can do. I mean, we can definitely go in the ascending order. We can go in the descending order. We can go in the weird order also, that I'll explain in some time. But what you need to understand is a very small fundamental. What this person is doing is, the person has added these two numbers, subtracted one out of it, and erased both the numbers and wrote 10 here. Okay. So if I'm using this particular example, let me show you what will be the final answer and how to get to that final answer. If I'm writing the number as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I am going to erase 1 and 2. I'll write 2 in the place of it. Say A and B currently on the blackboard are erased and they are replaced by A plus B minus 1. Now, there are 6 number left on the board. I have already taken the first operation. I will take the second operation now. I am adding these two, subtracting 1, writing it on the board. So after 2 operations, I have successfully erased the 3 numbers and replaced them with a 4. Okay. Now I am going to erase these 2 numbers and replace it with 7. And I will keep doing this for how many times? In this question, the process has been repeated 39 times. Now, what you need to understand is not one thing, but two things, but three things about this particular question, guys. Number one, what basically you are doing is you are replacing two different digits by one single digit. So if you start with the 40 digits, in the next case, you will have 39, 38, 37, 36, 35. You are reducing it till the time there is only one digit left on the board, because you are doing it 39 times. And exactly how are we going to get the answer of this? So basically what you are doing is you are adding these two numbers and subtracting 1 from it. The next time you will do it with another two numbers, subtract 1. Next time you will do it with another two numbers, subtract 1 from it. You keep doing this till the end, which means you are actually adding 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 up to 40 and subtracting 139 times. And that will give you the answer of this particular question. Okay. What you need to do, guys, is you need to take a smaller example to understand what the language is. You need to understand it by taking the smaller numbers. So every time you keep doing this operation, this is what is going to happen. I hope this is clear with everyone. Quickly type yes in the chat box. Perfect. So let me erase this from this board right now and let me give you the second method. So yes, you guys are absolutely correct. This will turn out to be 781, provided you remember that in this summation, we use the formula n into n plus 1 by 2. See, at the time of the examination, while solving these kind of a question, you need to click the formula, whatever you have gone through. Okay, so do remember what you have read and studied. Okay, now let me give you one more perspective of this particular question and I will clear one more doubt. So, but my example was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, correct? Now, you asked me, is it that we are going in the ascending order? My answer is absolutely no. In fact, I would like to go in a different approach in a very weird order. I'll show you my order. I will assume this is A for me and this is B for me. I'll add both of them. So it will give me 8. Then I'll subtract 1 from it. I'll write down 7 and erase these two numbers from the board. Now, guys, I think you are paying attention because if I do that with these two, this will also give me the result as 7. If I do the same with these two, this will also give me the result of 7. I hope you have understood what I'm trying to do here. And the same thing we can do here also. Only problem is this middle number is going to create a problem for you guys. Otherwise, this mechanism works the best when the number of integers given here is a perfect multiple of 2 or perfect power of 2 rather. So if they give you up to 32, 64, 128, then this mechanism will work like a charm. It will still work, but you have to understand if there are odd number of terms, how to calculate the middle one. Shouldn't it work for all the even number? It is going to work for all the even numbers, beta. I'm not talking about even numbers. I'm talking about even number of terms. The number of terms here, right? Because what is going to happen? I'll give you one quick example. If I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 plus 6, 7 minus 1, perfectly okay. 2 plus 5, 7 minus 1, perfectly okay. 3 plus 4, 7 minus 1, perfectly okay. Because the number of terms here were 6. We can pair them up. But what will happen here? I will have 6 plus 6, 12 minus 1. I can replace it with 11. This is going to create a problem. I need to remember that it was there. Okay. So if you're applying this approach, you can go with this approach. Just apply it with caution. You know, these stunts are done by professionals. Don't try this at home. All right. So I hope everyone is clear with this particular question. Let's move on to the next one. So guys, you have another 2 minutes. Give me the answer of this one. 2 minutes. Great. I got the first answer within 2 minutes. Okay. So, but a maximum people have given me the correct answer of this particular question. You guys are absolutely right about the question and the answer as well, and the approach as well. The correct answer is B, 4. Now, quickly tell me in the chat box how many of you have a doubt. You can type NO in the chat box. That means you have not understood it. And we'll start the discussion right away. Okay, perfect. No problem, brother. Let's start the discussion. So when we are talking about this particular number, we are talking about AB61. I want it to be divisible by 11. Now, if you remember the divisibility rule for 11, guys, it's very simple. The divisibility rule of 11 suggests I am going to have B plus 1 minus A plus 6 should either be 0 or 11 or 22 or so on. So this is the rule that we are applying. Ultimately, the equation is going to turn into B minus A minus 5 should be either 0. That means I can say that B minus A should be 5. Possibilities of that is 6 and 1, 7 and 2, 8 and 3, 9 and 4. These are our answer and we are done. These are our answer because if I keep this equation equal to 11, then I am getting B minus A minus 5 equal to 11, which will give me B minus A equal to 16, which is not possible. B and A is a single digit. How can the difference be 16 of two single digit numbers? That's why the correct answer of this question is 11. I hope it is clear with everyone. Okay, perfect. But a 0, comma 5 isn't an answer. I'm not getting your idea. I think you are misjudging the question, brother. They are saying how many are possible, how many numbers are possible. There are four numbers which are possible. Okay, but you are saying the number can be 7161. I don't think that this number is it divisible. एक बार check कर लो. Wait, is it AB61? Let me check, brother. Okay, am I missing 7 and 1? Are we getting 7 and 1 also? 8 and 2 also, 9 and 3 also, 60 also. Yes or no? Oh, okay. Acha, 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 acha. We have missed that. Sorry, beta. I think there is one more thing which we have missed is that there are two possibilities here. Sorry. है ना? So let's start over quickly. We are talking about A, B, 6 and 1. So what we have is A plus 6 minus B plus 1 can also be equal to 0. We are talking about the difference. That means A plus 6 minus B minus 1 can be 0, which means A minus B can also be minus 5. Or we can say that B minus A should be 5. Correct? There are not one but two values which are possible. Yes or no, guys? Example, if I am taking 6 and 1, can I also take 1 and 6? Check. 1661. Is that also divisible by 11? I can also take 5 and 0, but I can't take 0 and 5. है ना? I mean 5 and 0 नहीं ले सकता, यहाँ पे 0 and 5 लेना पड़ेगा. उस तरह से लेना पड़ेगा मुझे. Yes or no? So what will be the answer, guys? Yes, beta. What will be the answer? Okay, perfect. The answer is going to be C, 7. All right. So, beta, is this clear? Yes or no? Okay, perfect. Next question. Quickly calculate this one. 2 minutes. But 6061 is also one of the answers. Yes. Okay. I've already received two answers. Perfect. Perfect. So let us quickly discuss this particular question. But how many of you have started by taking the original value to be 100x? Then you have spent 10% of that on the education. The remaining 90% is present. Out of that remaining 90%, yes, but Tushar, just give me 1 minute. I'll come back to you. Out of 90x in the 20% arena, what do we have? 18x will go for rent, and remaining 72x will be here. And 25% of this, that is 18x, is going to go on the garments. Done. Finally, that 54x which is remaining is 5,400. So we have a simple answer in front of us. How many of you have applied this method? Quickly type the yes in the chat box. Okay, perfect. Perfect question, perfect answer. But before I go ahead, how many of you have used this method 75 by 100 into 80 by 100 into 90 by 100 into t is actually equal to 5,400? How many have used this one? That means out of the total, we have utilized 10% of the salary. Remaining 90% may say 20% we have utilized on another thing. Remaining may say 75% we are balancing on this. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Okay, perfect. No? अरे बाप रे, ऐसा क्यों हो गया भाई? अक्षिता, why no, बेटा? Okay, we'll come back to this discussion. Yes, beta. You were saying something? Somebody raised a hand. Who was that? Okay, doubt in the previous one, ना? मुझे लग ही रहा था उसमें कुछ ना कुछ डाउट जरूर आने वाले हैं. बोलो बेटा. What are the doubts? Okay, एक काम करते बेटा. Let's start over. Let us discuss this particular question one more time. Can I give you guys some alternate mechanism of solving this particular question? Yes or no? Okay. So, just have a look at the alternate mechanism. I don't know whether it is going to make it faster for you guys or slower for you guys, but guys, when we are talking about AB61, we are talking about AB6 and 1. Remember, AB6 and 1 are the distinct digits. Even I forgot that, you forgot that. They are the distinct digits. So now let us discuss this particular question in a different sense altogether. So when we are talking about this particular question, I am dividing this question by 11 and I'm teaching you a little bit glimpse of the remainder theorem, right? You are absolutely correct, but only A and B are distinct. So we will discuss that. Okay? We'll discuss it accordingly. हम वो सारी की सारी चीजें एक बार डिस्कस करेंगे. So let us discuss that one by one. If I apply the remainder theorem in this particular case, then what exactly is going to happen? I can rewrite this question as AB multiplied with 100 plus 61 and divided by 11. Do you guys agree with me? This is how we apply the remainder theorem. Now, 100 divided by 11 should give me a remainder of 1. That means what I'm going to get is AB plus, oh, by the way, the remainder from here is going to be 6, which means AB plus 6 when divided by 11 it should be perfectly divisible. Can I take the very first value of A and B as 1, 6? But can I take the very first value of AB as 1, 6? Okay. Can I take the very first value of AB as 1, 6, which will make it 22? Can I take the next value as 33? So 33 minus 6, which is 27. The next value I can take is 44 minus 6. Or you guys can observe now, I'll just keep increasing it by 11. Can I keep doing that? I mean, 27 के बाद, what is the next option? 38, 49, 60, 71, 82, 93. Yes or no? So yeah, I think we are getting 8 values in this, right? Okay. So, but was this much better? Is the remainder theorem better than the previous mechanism? Okay. We can't accept 60, but any reason why you are saying we cannot accept 60? Uh, but आप क्या बोलना चाहते हैं? मतलब distinct digits in what sense you are saying? Are you saying I cannot accept 60? Why? The who was this? Are you saying it is because of the distinct digits? Then 1 6, ये भी तो problem है ना? फिर तो 1661 भी नहीं आएगा ना बेटा? Right? Yeah, I think there might be some mistake in this particular question. Let me clarify. And this question from official guide. Okay, moving on to this particular question. Guys, 2 minutes, give me the answer.
Oh, sorry if I may interrupt for a second. Can we
Yes,
move
yes,
back
beta.
to the
Go ahead.
question that was for A and B? Yeah. So in this it says that A and B are distinct digits. It does not mean that 6 and 1 are distinct from A and B, right?
I'm not getting what you're trying to say. You're right. A and B are distinct digits, correct?
So the number of options would increase, is what I'm trying to say. I'm so sorry. Could you repeat what the answer is that you're saying would be the
Answer is 8, beta.
Okay, then I'll check mine again and then we can get back later.
Sure, beta. Sure. Okay. Guys, quickly, the answer of this one. Okay, good. Within 2 minutes, I'm getting some answers. Okay, perfect. So what exactly are we doing here is a very small task. If for this particular quadratic equation, the roots are alpha and beta. We are asking for the sum of the squares of the roots. That is alpha square plus beta square, which can also be written as alpha plus beta whole square minus 2 alpha beta. Also, I want this sum to be 0. So I want this to be 0. Now, alpha plus beta, according to our equation, is going to be a minus 3 whole square, and alpha beta is going to be minus a minus 7. This I want to be 0. Yes or no, guys? Okay. So, but ऐसे case में, I'll ask you guys only two questions. Number one, should I make a quadratic equation here and solve it? Yes. Should I keep the value of a from the options and solve it? Should I go for this? Should I go for this? क्या करें? Should we try to keep the answer of a from the options and then try to solve it, then try to get the answer of this particular question? Guys, yes or no? What should I do? Solve it by the quadratic, solve it with the options. Options रखें? Okay, only 2 people are saying quadratic, 3 people are saying quadratic, maximum people are saying options. It is 100% up to you. आप options रख के इसको solve करना चाहते हैं बेटा, you can 100% do that. By the way, which option justifies this the best? Which option is correct here? C, 5. If I keep A is equal to 5 in the equation, this is going to become 2 square, and this is going to be minus 2 square. So ultimately the result is going to be 0. So correct answer is indeed C. Simple question. You could have easily done this. One more example. Now, I don't want you guys to solve it. This time, I want you to tell me this question is from which topic. Quickly. This question is from which topic? Yes, beta. This question is from P and C. You can look at the length of this. You can look at the options of this particular question. And I think you guys can understand that this question is indeed going to take some amount of time and some amount of calculation is also needed. Right? So I'm not worried about the answer of this particular question. This time I'm worried about only one thing. Should we attempt it? Yes or no? Should we attempt this question, guys? Yes or no? Okay. As expected, people who like permutation combination love to go for these kind of a question. They will definitely love to attend this particular question. However, those who do not like permutation combination, they are not going to attempt this question at all. Now, another answer which I have got to share is absolutely correct. It will depend upon the time frame. If this is the very first question, I may think about solving it. If it is the last question, I may skip it. Okay, or may think about solving it again. Suppose this is the last question, I am left with 5 minutes. मैंने कुछ तो जादू कर दिया है. I am able to answer all the question in the given amount of time. I am left with 5 minutes. Should I attempt this question? Absolutely yes. We can absolutely try this question. Done. What we have to do is a simple task. We need to find a committee of 6 members such that at least 4 members should be from a particular area. Then what we are looking forward for is a simple fundamental. We need to select 6 members where there are 7 members from the academic council. There are 5 members from the executive council, and the 4 members of this committee should belong to the academic council, minimum to minimum. That means out of 7, I need to select 4, and out of 5, I need to select remaining 2, or out of 7, I can select 5, and from the 5, I can select 1. I can also select all 6 of them from the academic committee. Can I do this? Yes or no? But can I also do this? Okay. So I'm not worried about the answer. I am sure you guys will be able to calculate this. But this is how you need to tackle such kind of a question. Let's try one more. 2 minutes. Give me the answer. This question can be solved in less than 2 minutes, provided your calculations are good here. If your calculations are shaky and one mistake is committed, then dangerous to solve this kind of a question. If you're very good at calculation, definitely go for this one. Okay, give me answer of this one quickly. 2 minutes. Give me the answer of this one. Okay, but are you asking the answer of this particular question? If I can recall it correctly, it was 462. Last. Yeah, 2 minutes. Who is going to give me the first answer of this one? Good. I got the very first answer, quick and fast. Good. I got the second answer. Okay. Okay. So, but let us try to understand this particular question and let us see whether is it feasible to solve this kind of a question in the exam? By the way, will you try this question in the exam? Quickly type yes or no in the chat box. Y or N will also do with me. Will you try this question in the examination? Should we do that? I mean, can the calculation be simple or not? That's what I understand. So, what we can do is simple task. There is 100 kilometer, or let's say, actually 100 kilometer or 10,000 kilometer you can take. You can take 100 liter of the petrol for that. So there is a 10,000 kilometer that you need to travel. You have 100 liter with you. You have spent first 12 liter to cover 1,800 kilometers. Means your fuel efficiency is 150. You know that you will be covering another 24% of the total journey with the same kind of scenario. That means your fuel efficiency is still going to be 150 kilometer per liter. That means you will be spending somewhere around 16 liters now. And the remaining journey, that is 5,800 kilometers. For that, the fuel which is left with you is 72 liters, which is going to give you some kilometer per hour, some kilometer per liter. So can you tell me what will this be? Can anybody tell me how to calculate this, or should we calculate this? Is it easy to do it? Approximately how much is it going to be? It's approximately going to be 82 or 81. Is it 81? So better reduction, is it very close to 46%? Is the reduction very close to 46%? The question is saying what will be the percent increase in his fuel efficiency for the city driving over non-city driving, so that he just complete his entire journey without a refill. His initial journey was traveled at 150 kilometer per liter. Now it is 81, 82. The reduction is almost 70 out of 150, correct? Don't you think this should be the answer? Yes or no? Oh my God, are you guys there? Okay. But that is 5,800 divided by 72. Now we are talking about the fuel efficiency. That is kilometer per liter. So there is 5,800 kilometer left, which I'm traveling at 72. I mean, I still have 72 liters in my vehicle. Is this clear? But if it is clear with everyone, can you please type yes in the chat box? If it is not, can you please type no in the chat box? Perfect. Now let me give you guys a quick glimpse. Should we skip this in the examination? Should we skip this in the examination? But a very good question. Now, should we do that or we should not? See, in the ideal case scenario, I would request you not to attempt or try such kind of a question in the actual examination. It will solely depend upon a lot of parameters. For example, are you understanding what exactly we have to do in this type of a question? Do you know what exactly we are going to see or not? I mean, who said we have to go with such a complicated mechanism? Who says? I can go with a simple mechanism. I can observe few of the things. For example, in 12 liter, I'm capable of going for 1800 kilometers. In 16 liter, I'm capable of going for 2400 kilometers. So in 72, going by that rate, I'll be traveling 10800 kilometers. You understand what we are doing here? We are using this factor. But rather than 108 factor, I am going only 58. That means my efficiency is reduced. And this is almost half, which is very close to 46%. Now, which way we are approaching the question also matters a lot. And what exactly are you doing about this? So yes, your question is absolutely genuine and true. If we skip majority of the question of this level, can we clear the cutoff of Quant and NMAT? So my dear friend, the real question is, are we going to get all the questions like this? I mean, we have gone through 6 and 7 examples today. Did you find each and every one of them at the same difficulty level? This examples which I have kept here to give you guys a glimpse how the question in the NMAT is going to look like and how fast you need to think about them. I mean, quant is still okay, guys. If in data interpretation, if you ask me, right? If you ask me in data interpretation, if I'm looking at this particular kind of a question, see how lengthy this is. See how much data you need to look at in order to answer one of the question here. I'm not worried about the answers. I'm not worried what is the answer. I know you guys will be able to get it. Whether you use a calculator, you don't use a calculator. I mean, what they're asking is a percent increase in the female population from 2001 to 2006. We know the total population in Uttar Pradesh. We know the total number of male of Uttar Pradesh. We can easily calculate in 2001 what is the total number of female population. In 2006, what was the total number of female population? And we can easily get the answer. Getting the answer is not a problem. But the real question is, can we get this answer in the given time frame? And you are absolutely correct. The different question will carry more marks, and some question may carry less marks. I mean, if you're asking a difficult question carries more marks, then but Anurag, you have to understand one thing, it is very subjective. Which question are you going to consider to be difficult? Which question are you going to be considering as a simple question? I mean, permutation combination for you can be difficult, for me can be simple. So how are we going to judge whether this is a difficult question or simple question? I hate profit and loss. I may find the question of profit and loss very difficult. So will it carry less marks for me? That is very subjective. What I am trying to do today is, and what I am trying to say is, you should try to attempt each and every question to your full capacity. Skipping question loses more marks, or marking wrong option loses more. You have to mark the answer. You can't go to the next one unless you mark the answer. Done? Okay. So coming back to this particular question, guys, just here to give you the glimpse, this is how the question of data interpretation is going to look like. Now, if they're asking you the percent increase in the female population, as I said, we have a very simple question here where the total population, male population is given. If I calculate the difference, it is going to be 775. If I calculate the difference in 2016 between this figure and this figure, it is going to be 820. They were asking for the percentages increment between these two. So that percentages increment is going to be 45 divided by 775. Now, there is another problem. Problem is, you look at the options now, guys. Here the options are very close and approximation will play its best role here. So that is going to be very crucial what we're going to do. Oh, sorry, that was 785. My mistake, brother. Okay. So our answer is going to be 35 divided by 785 into 100. Here, everything has to be very carefully done because I don't know whether with approximation I'll be able to get the answer of this particular question or not. Right? As you can see, the options are very, very close to each other. Should I take a risk now or should I minutely observe and try to get the answer of this? I mean, should I do this that 785 is there? I'll calculate 5% of that, which is 3.925 to be precise, and then move my way towards these options. I mean, I'm looking forward for 35. I'm getting 39.25. I still have to move here. So how much movement is possible? How much am I going to move? And this is where the approximation is going to play a major role. Okay. So indeed, the correct answer of this question is 5. So by the way, just my observation, guys, I know most of you are excited when you see such a question. You want to jump to the answer, want to get the answer. But today in this particular session, my agenda was very different. My agenda was three things. Number one, to give you a glimpse of how the questions in NMAT is designed, what you have to do in that. Is it easy, moderate, difficult? If it is easy, can we come back to it? No. Can we solve it at that particular moment? Yes. If it is too difficult, shall I waste my time in that? No. Okay. And there are some questions which are slightly different, which requires a lot of acumen also, especially if we are talking about questions like this, a question based on data sufficiency. But before I move on to this particular question, let me also give you a glimpse if data interpretation becomes difficult, how it is going to look like. So you can see the graphs here. We are talking about two different graphs. Look at the information that they had given here for one question. You have to go through all this and try to get the answer from that. These are the kind of questions where wasting time is very, very dangerous. So take a guess, educated guess, random guess, calculative guess, depends upon your timing, how much time is remaining. It depends upon how much pressure you can handle during the examination. All right. So if we are talking about data interpretation, but your question is in data interpretation, at least 5 regular questions based on some data. So we can definitely do. You are right, but it is not like logic. It is going to have an individual question. So it is as good as you are doing a calculative question only. See, if you are looking at this particular question, don't you think it is lengthy? I mean, if I'm saying this data set is given to you and this question is given to you, skip this one, solve the previous one. See, if the question is simple, they're asking for a simple, sweet data, give it to them. If they're asking for the complicated data, leave it. Because if you are stuck in the calculation and you are about to get the wrong answer or taking too much time, that will be counterproductive. Okay. So try to solve the simple question. Ultimately, guys, remember one thing. In any of the competitive examination, the end result should be your result that should be done by, uh, you know, maximizing your score by solving a simple question, moving on to the moderate one, then moving on to the difficult one. That's how the adoptive paper of NMAT works. Now, when we are talking about data sufficiency, question like this, read the data very carefully. Be 100% sure if you're about to get the answer or not. Do not consume a lot of time. Any question based on data interpretation can easily be done within 1 to 2 minutes. So they should be solved unless it is extremely complicated data. For example, this one. So guys, can you give me a quick answer? What will be the answer of this one? So the question is x square minus y square and even? Guys, can I get the answer from first alone? Is it possible for me to get the answer from first alone? Yes or no? Can I get the answer from first alone? Yes. I can get the answer from first alone. Can I get the answer from second alone? No. I cannot get any assured answer from second alone. Now, these are the kind of a question where you need to start judging whether the given data is sufficient or not. Please remember, getting the end result is not important here. Just have to think whether it is possible to get the answer or not. For example, when we are talking about this case, which answer is correct, guys? Have a look and give me the answer. Go, I'm unable to understand your question, but are you saying for this one or the previous question? The previous one. Okay, we'll discuss that. Okay. So in this particular question, guys, question is find the length of the platform. I think you can understand that in order to find the length of the platform, at least in one of the information platform must be mentioned. Correct? So A is definitely one of the compulsion with us. Along with that, if I use B or if I use C, I will be able to get the answer. Do you agree with me, yes or no? But even if I use A, I mean, along with A, if I use B, I can get the answer. If I use C, I can still get the answer. So answer should be the fourth one. However, in this particular question, is it a compulsion for me to calculate the length of the platform? Yes or no? Okay, perfect. So that is what data sufficiency is all about. Now, moving back to this particular question, but I was expecting at least 2 or 3 doubts. So my question is, can I get the answer from second alone? If they are asking me, is x square minus y square an even number? I can write x plus y into x minus y is going to be even. Correct? If it is given to me that x plus y is an even number, then obviously the product is going to be even. That means the first one alone is sufficient to give me the answer. I hope everybody agrees with me here. Is there anyone who disagree in this particular case? Okay. But if I say that x minus y is odd, is it still going to give me the answer? Can it give me any kind of an answer? Is it possible to get the answer if x minus y is odd? Yes or no? Can I get the answer from second alone? So I think one of you have already answered this. If x minus y is odd, that is only possible if both of them is odd. Oh, sorry, one of them is even, one of them is odd. Yes or no? So if one of them is even and one of them is odd, then even here in the result, one of them will be even, one of them is going to be odd. That bracket is also going to give me an odd value, yes or no? So can I get the answer from second alone, guys? Can I get the answer from second alone also? So may I say that each statement alone is sufficient to give me the answer of this particular question? Yes? Yes or no? But wait, there is one more very small fundamental which is attached to this. So let me tell you one more very small fundamental. It is nowhere given and it is nowhere written that x and y has to be an integer. What will happen if I consider x to be 1.5 and y to be 0.5? Is 1.5 minus 0.5 an odd number? Yes. Is 1.5 and 0.5 an odd number? Yes. Their summation is going to be 2. Their summation is going to be 2. So in this particular case, 2 into 1 is going to give me an even number. However, if I take some other values like 3 and 2, it is going to give me an odd number. That is why second alone is not sufficient to give me the answer. Is this clear with everyone? Can x and y be negative? Of course, there is no restriction here. There is absolutely no restriction here, brother. Done? So with that said, I think we'll call it a day, guys. Thank you, everyone. You were a wonderful audience. I hope soon enough I'll see you in some other session. Okay? Yes, brother. To answer your question, if you are getting two different lengths of the train from AB and BC, that is still the answer, because in data sufficiency, what is the rule? The rule says if I'm looking at the first statement, the second does not exist. And if I'm not looking at the first statement, then the second exists. Even if I'm getting two distinct answers from here, perfectly okay. Okay. But I'm not getting what you're trying to say. See, if x plus y is even, the point ends there, because even multiplied by anything is ultimately going to be even. Now, what you might be thinking is, what will happen if this is 2 and this is 1 by 2? Is that what you are saying? Okay, let's try for such two values. If x plus y is equal to 2 and x minus y is equal to 1 by 2, can you find the value of x and y? Is it again going to be 1.5 and 0.5? Check. Okay, for the rest of the people, guys, good night, and I hope to see you in some other lecture. Good night, everyone. All the best. Is it better to keep some question unattempted or take all? But I would request you to take all. That's perfectly okay. No problem in that. Okay. All the best, everyone.